So I am driving home from work, white knuckle gripping the fucking steering wheel because I'm about to stroke out. If there's one thing that I will suggest to you, if you are quitting your job out of anger, out of whatever issue, but emotionally you are not well, whatever you do, don't video and film it and then decide you want to post, because I have been sitting on this video for weeks now. When I made the intro part of that video, that was the actual video that I was going to post for everybody, basically announcing that I was quitting my job because I no longer could take it. I had gotten so angry on this drive home, and it wasn't just a one-time thing, but this is the one to where in my head I was like, I knew it was time that I had to go, because I was no longer a rational human being. I was no longer a very calm and composed Brian that a lot of you know who I am. And yes, I've got a big attitude, big personality, but I think I'm a nice guy. My intent is always, for the most part, pretty good. So when I got to the point to where I am driving, as in that video, and that video recording, that was within 30 minutes, 40 minutes of getting home. And I was like, I'm done. I'm quitting. I want it on the record. I want it on the record with you. I wanted it on the record with me because I wanted to hold myself accountable. And to my wife, to my boss, not to get into all of the weeds, all of the details, because although I have indicated to my boss, who I have a fantastic relationship with, who knows everything there is to be known about this situation, great relationship, I told them, you like that pronoun? I told them I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. The people that I am working with, I cannot do this anymore. A little backstory on Brian here. I have worked most of my life as my main job as a photographer, videographer. I create content for businesses, and that is what I consider my main business. And I still do that. Not as much as I did prior to the pandemic. And since the pandemic, it's been awful, but we've been having to pivot. We've had some family issues with, which I will say is part of the reason why I had to get this job last fall. Let's start with that. This isn't going to be a long video. This is going to be patient zero of a series of I am quitting my job and I am going, hold on. I'm going to do YouTube. At the age of, I just turned 50 in February of this year. I am going to do YouTube to replace, at the very least, the amount of money that I was earning on the paycheck from this part-time job. I considered it a part-time job. And this is one to where it's a part-time job of something that I would have never guessed that I would never have seen myself taking a job like this. One, working for somebody, because I don't do that. I'm not good at it. But this is the bottom of all positions. I can't get into details right now because I'm still there. And it's kind of yes, I indicated that I am leaving, but I also told my boss that I will stay there as long as it takes to find an acceptable replacement for me. So I'm working with them out of loyalty only to this one person. The longer I continue to be there since I've made this decision is driving me just batty in my head. And it's all about people management. And I know that I'm not the only person out here that has issues with managing personalities of other people. I do it all the time. Outside of this job here, I'm very good at managing personalities. But outside of this particular part-time job that I have, I can determine who I work with my business. It's we can choose each other. And if I don't like working with a certain client, I don't work with you again. Or if there's an issue or a problem, I tell you right there, hey, this isn't working out. In a job where you go, blue collar job where you go punch in, punch out, where you are at the bottom of the ladder, you don't have a lot of options. The reason why I took this job, one was, yes, having a little extra spending cash to go on trips, to go see both of our boys at school where they're at, oldest is at West Point. Our youngest is at Ole Miss, ROTC down there. So we don't get to see them a lot. So having a little spending cash to go on trips would be nice. But and I don't know how many people know this other than my wife. The main reason why I took this job was because of her health issue that she had last year, which actually started out 2 years ago. It's been kind of ongoing, but she had developed breast cancer. And so our insurance for the family is going through her and her job, right? So when you go through breast cancer, when you go through cancer, when you go through anything that big in your family, that's a lot of money. So if you ever read the bill that you get after the whole cancer thing gets done, your insurance, the company has paid a lot of money. The fear was, what happens if the company decides we don't want to be doing this anymore? We need to get rid of her. Whether they can do it or not, doesn't matter. If you're costing the company too much because you have cancer, we were a little exposed. And so we put this off for so long, but the exposure was there. In what's the backup plan if she lost her job while going through breast cancer? So I finally made the decision that I never thought I would even get to at this point in my life, to where I'm like, I'm gonna go get a part-time job, not to make part-time money, but to put myself in a position that if she did lose her job and we lost the insurance, that I would be in a place to where I could probably transition to a full-time position and get insurance. That was the plan. That was the main reason. It wasn't to make travel money, although that's what I kind of told everybody. So I put myself in a position that I knew I wasn't going to be successful, that wasn't going to work out. So it was kind of my fault, but I had to do it. I got a little further than I thought. The wife thought I would make it maybe 2 or 3 months. I started back in September of 2024. I think she gave me until Christmas. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it till Christmas. But initially things were going fine. And then 2025 rolls around. It just started to degrade with my relationships with people that I work with. Not to the point to where I can't sit down with somebody like an adult and figure things out. In this particular case with the people that I'm talking about, the communication is not there. It's a completely different, you're playing 2 different games. Let's just leave it at that. And again, once I am gone, I can get into a lot more detail that's going to make a lot of this make a little bit more sense. So just bear with me. So once we get to the point to where I'm driving home, so pissed off and upset to the point to where I feel like I'm going to black out as I'm driving. I got to leave. I can't do this. And I had several conversations with my boss, and I just gave it away. Not that it really matters, but I'm trying to be a good guy here and not reveal too much. But they were very understanding and tried to do whatever it took to make things workable. And I said, look, I will stay there as long as you need me to find a replacement. So that's not going to work out. And I finally, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what am I going to tell my wife? And I was kind of open and honest with her. She knows it. She knew I was on borrowed time. She has gone through the cancer. Everything is looking good. But with cancer, you're always looking over your shoulder, no matter what. We're still kind of exposed, but I want to transition into something in addition to what my main business is photography, videography, doing content for other people. I want to develop my own, basically, YouTube network. I've got 5 channels set up right now that I've been planning this for months now. And at the very least, if I'm going to do this, if I'm quitting, I needed to be able to go to my wife and hold myself accountable and say, at the very least, I'm going to be able to replace the regular money that I was making on a monthly basis. And it wasn't that much, which makes this a little more possible to do. I am fortunate. I realize that what I have to replace on YouTube is not that much. This is doable. And I know there's a lot of people that, oh, here we go, another YouTuber. Somebody thinking that they're going to make some money. He doesn't know what he's going to get. I've done a little bit of this before. I've built up social media channels. I've been monetized before. I had a gardening thing for about 10 years. to the point to where I've been monetized on Instagram. I've been monetized on TikTok. My best month with a monetized channel was about $800. My goal for this YouTube, for the 5 channels that I have, that I'm going to build up and I will monetize, is to replace $1,000 a month. It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm not there yet, but I've started. And that's always the hardest thing, is to get started with it. So this is what my series is going to be from here on out on this channel. If you want to follow me and you want to see what's going on, can somebody that just turned 50 years old create not only one YouTube channel and monetize it, but 5? So it's going to be this one here, which is the Tossing Salad Podcast Network. It's a hub channel. This is what my podcast used to be for the last few years, this particular channel. I'm making that into a hub channel because what I used to do on my podcast was touching on everything that was out there. It was a virtual tossed salad of things that we would talk about. Various different people from all over the place, all different kind of backgrounds. Talk to all kinds of people. We talk to all different things. It's a virtual tossed salad, but it was too broad. People want to subscribe to things to where they know what they're getting. They want a narrow focus of, I'm into sports. I'm into DIY. I'm into food. I'm into politics. Whatever it is, people want to subscribe to something that's specific, usually, and not the broad. There's too many things to where they're like, I'm not interested in half the stuff he talks about. So I understand that, and that's no problem. We're turning this channel here into the hub channel to where if you just want to see what Brian's got going on with everything, you can just subscribe to this one. If you have interest in my DIY life, which is almost every day, everything's breaking in our house. And I'm not coming at it as an expert. I'm coming at it as hey, the dryer just broke today. You want to join me as I figure out what's going on and how to fix it? We have our one channel, TSP DIY, which has been going fantastic. And it's only been going a few months. I'm already halfway there to being monetized. Also going to have another channel called TSP Total Entertainment. That's a fun one. That's all movies, music, gaming. I'm getting into Nintendo Switch 2. I just got a Switch 2 from my mom as a gift. I'm like, hell, let's turn that into part of the entertainment channel. That channel's going great. So we're building that up. I've got a food and eats channel, TSP Food and Eats, which I haven't been able to do a lot of content on that just yet, but I'm building the foundation for it to where whenever I feel like I want to do something that has to do with recipes, food reviews, anything like that that has to do with food and or eating, which I enjoy, I have a channel dedicated to just that. And then the other channel is my TSP Sports, where I get to talk about all the things about sports that I enjoy. And the great thing is, I am no longer limited like I was when I did gardening, to where all I did was pump out gardening content for 10 years. And for me, that gets old. That gets old after a couple of years. I left a 45,000 subscriber TikTok account behind. I'm done with it. Moved on to something else. Got bored. Moved on from a 10,000 follower Instagram account for gardening. Got bored. I can't do it anymore. This is what I want to do. So follow along. You want to know what we're going to do? We're quitting our job for YouTube, and I'm going to step you through everything that I have to do each week, which in the next couple weeks, I got to figure out, okay, I need to bring in some extra money because at some point my services will no longer be needed at this place. Although my brain and my body and my health will be like, thank God it's time to leave. I need to replace a little bit of the cash. And I'm not monetized yet on any of these channels. So what am I going to do to do that? I've got a few ideas. Thanks to ChatGPT, I'm doing that too. I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to show you everything that I have to do to get these channels up and going, getting them monetized. 50-year-old guy, if I can do it, you guys can probably do it too. This is a little bit longer than I wanted, but I just wanted to get started on the first episode of this new series, quitting my job for YouTube. I like doing stuff like this. It's not planned out. I like just jumping in the pool and figuring out as we go. So we're going to figure this out. If you enjoy that stuff, follow along.